3-drop mana rocks are crap. Years ago, this used to be the lukewarm take in Commander that I didn't quite agree with. I mean, look at Darksteel Ingot, it's pretty much like ramping a land, right? And Commander Sphere early game mana, late game cantrip. The lockets aren't terrible either. Yeah, this was way back. But since then, Wizards has shown me over and over how off I was with my card evaluation by tacking more and more utility onto these 3 mana rocks, proving just how underpowered they were for most of Commander's history. And now we need a closer look at these rocks because they've maintained the floor of 3 mana, add 1, but offer so much varied utility that it's getting difficult to write them off. And you're welcome to join me. This is Jin with Next Level Commander. My apologies for the lack of updates in the past 2 weeks. I was a bit caught up with life and work. Speaking of work, this channel is only around 99,000 subscribers away from becoming a full-time gig, so please like and subscribe and help me get there. Okay, anyways, today we're going to look at some of the most underrated rocks from the olden days to the newest spoilers from Avatar. And by underrated, the definition is simple here, seeing less play than Darksteel Ingot, which is a fine card, but it's getting more and more difficult to justify playing over some of these new options. So, Scryfall for 3 mana rocks and sort them from least to most popular. The first one that pops up is the Warring Triad. Now, I know the card is kind of new, and I think people are glossing over the mana rock part and evaluating this as something else. And to be fair, it does do a lot. Getting 8 cards into the grave isn't too difficult, especially in graveyard decks where this will shine with its mill ability. And 5/5 trample flying is excellent on offense or defense. And imagine top decking this in the late game, just drop it and smack someone for 5. And interestingly, the mana ability says target player, so there are some political implications if you are the friendly type. And if not, this also commits crimes. I mean, Giza and Marchesa decks are sleeping on this according to EDHREC. Don't. It's sweet. Yeah, we started off with a high bar to clear, and this is a great example to show how pushed these modern day manoliths are in all the right ways. And our next candidate is Blitzball. I already kind of made a video about this one, but to sum it up, this is a mana rock to power out your commander, and then you can immediately cash it in for 2 cards. And that's excellent value for decks that are not green or blue. It also triggers off opponents attacking each other, so you'll most likely get to crack it fairly quickly. The trick here is unlike Commander Sphere, which you can hold until the last minute. With Blitzball, you want to be aggressive in sacrificing it. Say you might be missing the next land drop or 2. Just send it. Combined with White's small stuff reanimation theme, this card alone can keep a mono white or a borrow stack relevant in the late game single-handedly. Now from the world of Final Fantasy to Doctor Who, Laser Screwdriver. Now Sonic Screwdriver is much more popular and is a great card, but Laser feels like it should be in far more decks. Tapping an artifact isn't really useful until my friend Alex warps in a Blightsteel Colossus with some weird alien commander. I don't know, but being able to surveil as a mana sink is excellent. And gold at instant speed is just one of the strongest abilities you can get on a rock. This is worth trying in any non-green deck that operates at instant speed, and bonus points if it cares a bit about the top deck, or the graveyard. Okay, Universes Beyond is getting a bit out of hand. It's finally time for in-unit. Just kidding, it's Fallout. The Bobbleheads are not really worth playing. You need 2 to 3 on the battlefield to do anything meaningful, and that means you need like 4 or 5 in your deck. Except for one, the Agility Bobblehead. Haste and Unblockable is massive in the late game, and this doesn't even have the dreaded sorcery speed only clause. Whether it's turning a late game top deck into an immediate threat, sending your Voltron commander in for 1 final hit, or just as a political tool, this is worth another look at. Next up, Progenitor's Icon. Now this card isn't exactly underrated, it's a typo stable, I'm guessing. But what makes it interesting is the ability to do work in plenty of other decks as well. Just being able to flash a commander in can be invaluable for plenty of decks. Ones where the commander is expensive and slow to turn on while being a removal magnet, or decks that operate mostly at instant speed, where you'd always want to keep your options open. Also Voltron commanders for protection and pseudo haste. The list goes on. The next one I've been trying to sell to my playgroup since release, but no luck. And I want to hear your thoughts. The Celestus. Another card that has utility far beyond the obvious intended use in werewolf decks. Getting to loot in 1 life is excellent value, especially when it's free. Switching from day to night can be difficult, but it's possible if your pot includes draw go players, or you happen to be one yourself. Activating it manually also isn't the worst option because it's pretty much a guarantee that someone will revert it back to day, netting you 2 lose and 2 life. Also, the bonus of introducing night and day to the game. I mean, once it's in, it's permanent. Just constantly remind your opponents and make dumb jokes pointing at your watch. Good times. And now, if the Celestus is too fiddly for your liking, the next one is absolute bomb. All Fates Scroll. I'm tempted to call this the strongest 3-mana rock in Commander, but I'm not even sure I should be evaluating this as a mana rock. It's like a Blue Sun Zenith attached to a rock for any color. No, you don't even need to be playing a land stack or a ton of colors. I mean, I immediately swapped this in for Commander Spheres in all of my Boros decks, and by the time you crack it, it's easily 5 to 7 cards. Expensive to activate, yes, but taking a turn off to completely refill your hand is a luxury that many less privileged decks have never seen before. Even in monocolored, heck, even in colorless, this is like Kozilek levels of card draw in the late game, all on a mana rock. And to round things out, we have a card yet to be released from Avatar. Bender's Waterskin. This is the kind of card that many need to play to see its value, but imagine a control deck that operates at instant speed. A Commander Sphere will net you 5 mana on turn 4, but Bender's Waterskin can potentially be 3 mana on your turn, plus 3 more on your opponent's turn, and another 1 after that. Insane value in decks that can maximize it. Also worth mentioning, I do enjoy a lot of decks that are overly dependent on a powerful commander, backed up by protection of course. For example, Baloth and Baratil. I built him with Noble Heritage as the background, and the goal is to keep Baloth around and never having to worry about combat again, and eventually kill people with Baloth Voltron damage. Seems good, but the entire game plan falls apart without Baloth. Now Baloth I normally don't drop until I have 6 mana, 5 for casting and 1 to keep it alive for the turn. Bender's Waterskin allows me to reach this point 2 turns early, making it one of the best cards to see in the opening hand, I imagine. Now, can 3-drop mana rocks really compete with 2-drops? I am not sure. Probably not, because no matter how fancy they are and how high they push the ceilings of these cards, we have to evaluate them based on the floor, and these are mana rocks. We want them to make mana. It's almost like lands that enter tapped versus the ones that don't. There's no comparison. And the difference between 2 and 3 mana rocks is massive if you think about it, because they produce a mana. So the net cost for Arcane Signet is actually 1, while Commander Sphere costs 2. That's double. And this is why you can oftentimes sneak in an Arcane Signet or a Talisman without disrupting your turn too much, but it's much more difficult, or precisely twice as difficult to do that with 3 mana rocks. But all things considered, I think it's wonderful that Wizards has realized the need to push 3 mana rocks and going ham with it in the past couple of years. And finally, many of them are actually worth another look alongside your Arcane Signets and Talisman. Are there some other hidden gems which I've glossed over? Please let me know in the comments. This is Jin with Next Level Commander. I do a lot of deck tags and random hidden gem videos like this one. And in the future, I'm looking to do some gameplay videos, which can be very exciting. So yeah, if you enjoy this content and look forward to more, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.